Hi everyone, and welcome to Access People for Hospitality webinar. Today we're going to look at the 6 simple stages to help ensure you retain your best talent. So thank you for joining, and my name is Roseanne, and today's webinar we're going to look at the actual Access People software and how it can help you improve employee engagement and retain your best talent. Now this is a live webinar, so if somebody could just put in the questions or raise a hand just so I know you can clearly hear me and see the screen, that would be great. Perfect, guys, thank you very much. So we will be looking at different parts of the software, and we will also have a Q&A at the end of the presentation. So please feel free to submit any questions as we go through the demo for me to answer or go into more detail at the end. So just as I'm going along, just start logging those questions, and then we should have quite a few to go through at the end. So as I said, we're going to look at the 6 simple stages to ensure you retain your best talent. These 6 stages are as follows. We have recruitment and onboarding. So sometimes these are forgotten about in this employee life cycle, because straight away, as soon as you engage with your employees, that will be at the recruitment stage. And a good recruitment process will help when engaging them when they start with the business. We have rewards and benefits. So this is also important. It doesn't mean to be a monetary amount. This is ensuring that we are working with the employee, and this can be anything within the business. We have performance and development. Now we need to ensure that when we do have these employees, we're giving them the right training and we're ensuring that top performance from them. And very last, we have the exit, which is sometimes forgotten. Even if we have had the best employee engagement journey for our staff, if we fail as they leave, that's what they will remember. So it's also important to ensure that even if they are leaving the business, they have a good experience. So with that in mind, why are we looking at these 6 simple steps at the moment? So what is happening in the market? As the clock ticks down to the UK's exit from the European Union, we turn our focus onto catering and hospitality industry and the potential impacts on the UK business. More than 10% of all UK employment is within catering and hospitality. However, between 12 and 25% of UK hospitality workers are EU nationals, raising a number of questions about the impact of Brexit. The hospitality sector is expected to face an estimated recruitment shortfall of 60,000 workers per year from 2009 if EU immigration is squeezed. Now more than ever, we have to look at the level of employee engagement we offer and what cost-effective ways we can ensure we retain our staff. Seven hospitality roles at risk. These roles, as you can see, are our mobile workforce. These employees within these roles are the hardest to engage with and therefore should be our primary focus. 80% will be the waiters and waitresses, and then we have from bartender to barista, host, and even to restaurant manager and hotel manager. These are the roles that we need to ensure that we can retain. We asked operators what their key concerns were within their organisation. With Brexit and employee churn being at the top of operators' concern, we need to consider what will help minimise churn as well as streamlining the recruitment process and the candidate experience. Tactics to minimise staff churn. Increasing salaries are obviously high on the list to combat this, but we can offer as a business in a cost-effective manner as well. Operators are now focusing more on employee engagement, with 48% more looking at training, 40% at shift flexibility, 31% at better promotion opportunities, and 20% at better onboarding. Investing in technology is one of the ways to combat this. We still come across operators using old software or even Excel, which is not fit for the business they need. Now, I was actually with a customer the other day and they had multiple stores, and what they were using was just simply Excel to put their rota together. When I asked them how they were actually communicating this to employees, they were actually simply putting this rota on the wall, taking a photo of it on their phone and then just sharing it on a text message. This was how they communicated the rota to their staff. Now, as you're aware, in catering and hospitality, rotas can change, there's shift swaps, there's sicknesses, holidays, and we need to ensure that staff are able to access these rotas in a live format. So technology is now being invested into a lot more. So what we'll do now is we'll go into the demonstration. So now we have what we're looking at is Access People. And this is our HR and labour software. Now, as we talked about earlier, we talked about the 6 steps. So what I'm going to take you to now is actually the recruitment side, because this is the first point we are engaging with our employees. So within Access People, we have a lot of areas. We have the HR and the training. Sorry about that, guys. We've just realised that we didn't have the system up. Won't be a moment. Right, so you should be able to see that Access People. So this is the Access People HR product. But what we're going to do is, because we're looking at these simple steps of how we are engaging with our employees, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the recruitment section first. So if I just go straight into vacancies, I can clearly see all the vacancies that I have at the moment, and these can be published to my own website. So to show you how this looks, I'm going to go into our recruitment side here. So this is just a demo system here of how recruitment can look. And what would happen is you will publish your vacancies on this area here. What we could do is the candidate can then actually click into this area here and then log in and apply for a vacancy. So you can see we have a simple apply here and we have the information regarding that role. This is all comes from the HR system and is all related to the post. So what this does is it's all templated, so it's very easy to use if you have multiple sites. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to log in as a candidate. So when a candidate does apply for a role, they will then have an account. And this is also easily viewable on a mobile phone. As we know, these days, the young generation, everything is done on the phone. So we have all the information here. We have the personal information, any sensitive information that could be recorded, and contact info. They can then choose to add additional information under here, and this can be pulled through to the HR system, which will be great for alleviating any pressure on the admin team. When they're successful in an application, they can also be onboarded. This is also going to allow you to collect information for the employee. So this is important when engaging in onboarding, because we want the employee to have a very easy experience of joining the business. So what will happen here is the information will be sent to them for their start date, and then they can check the information that they've already filled in and fill out any additional information if required. The system will then ask them for any additional information. So you can, if you need anything more, we can have that in the system. And all this information will go from job history to education, and then we can just simply confirm them when they are into the system. Once they're pulled through to this section into HR, they will then be given a login, and they will be able to access self-service, and they will be able to access their profile. So let me just come out of there. Okay, won't be a second, just have a slight technical issue. And I seem to have lost my menu. Just bear with me, won't be a minute. What's a live webinar without a couple of glitches? Okay, so what we see here is we have a self-service option, and we also have my team. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into employee so you can see what they would see as self-service. So when the individual comes in, and they will be able to have their login details before they even start with their employment. And this is because we want to gain as much information on the employee as possible. So this is just the core information of the employee. And then we can see down here, we have all the information that will be gathered. And this can be pulled through, like I said, from the onboarding profile. There will also be an eligibility to work check as well. So if we go into employment, and we can go into the position of the individual, and as I said before, everything is post related. So all this information will come through straight away. We can also record any education. So if they've recorded anything on onboarding, education can also be brought through as well. Now, with Access People, what is important when bringing anybody through is to ensure that we can actually look at their performance and look at their training, and ensure that we keep them on that correct journey through the business and ensure they have a positive outlook. But to do that, we would simply look at how we would assess them in their skills. So if I just add a skill assessment here, what we can do is we can have these built in the background, and then you can decide on how you will assess them, and then they can use this as a framework going forward. You would set what the target was, and then you would record that. And what you can do is you can record multiple skills assessments, and we can see those as they go down. We also have a traffic light system here at the top. Now, this is important when we're pulling information from the employee, because what we're going to do is we're going to be asking them to fill their bank details in and any sort of information that will affect their pay and also their rotas. So what we have here is a traffic light system that tells us that everything is active, everything is correct on payroll, and everything is approved. So what I mean by that, if you just go up, go into my team, and I just look for another individual. Just do a quick search here. Look for myself. We can see here that mine clearly says my pay is suspended. If I go up to the top here, I can see my traffic light system is showing red. And I can see also here that I have my payroll information is missing, and this needs to be addressed. How many individuals or employees have started and they've missed their bank details? Well, we have a clear way of identifying that and ensuring that information is on the system. We also have training in the system as well. So let me just go into there for you. Just pick up one of my employees. And now what we're going to do is we're looking at Michael Churchman. So to engage these employees and ensure that they have the best experience, we want to home in on those talents, and we also want to make sure that everybody goes through that same process. So to do that, what we can have is we have training. So we have our skills assessments here, and then we can also record any training against that individual as well. Now, if I just go into the administration side here and training management, this is how we will look after training in the system. Straight away, it's telling me I have 4 training events and I have an induction here. If I just quickly go into here, it's going to tell me it's for new starters. It's going to tell me how long that is and where that will be held, and any information relating to that. You can record the trainers on there. We can also record the attendees. Now, what this will do is, with relation to the post, we can have courses already attached to the post requirement. So what that means is when someone goes into a post, they will automatically, or if they're a new starter, have to do the induction day. So the system is intelligent enough to tell you that you need to put these people, these employees, onto this course. And then if you want to, you can record any cost against that. The system will then notify the individual that they have been added to a course. And it will also notify them up to the day before that, to remind them that that course is going to take place, because we know what employees are like. They'll say they're going on a course and then completely forget about it. So there's always those reminders in the background of the system. You can have multiple training courses. So if I just go down to my induction day, and what we can hear is we can retain some information on the system relating to that course. Again, this is to ensure all employees go down the same process. You can put that description on there, and there's also a self-service aspect as well. So employees can book themselves onto that training. You can have results in there so they can receive a qualification, and we can also have a prerequisite as well. And what this means is if you've got, say, a food hygiene course and you've got level 1 and 2, they won't be able to go on to level 2 before they've actually been on to level 1. So these are all aspects that are actually ensuring that the employee is engaged with at any point. And like I said, they can receive all this information. The system, when it's through self-service, is actually mobile responsive. So the employees can see all this on their mobile phone, and they can also see any training notifications that they've had, and they can also update any bank details, because as you know, that's important for them, because we sort of like already looked at earlier that we're trying to home in on that mobile workforce. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you the rotas. So what we can do is we can ensure that when a post is actually recruited for, we can actually identify if that post is relating to a rota. So if we've sort of like got multiple stores, hotels, etc., we can actually ensure that when we put that individual on, they will be pulled through to a rota. This is a rotoring system, and this is also accessible on a mobile phone to an individual. They can log in at any point and see clearly what shift they are on. Just go down here. You can have multiple rotas. Now, what we also have in this functionality is we have the ability to also swap shifts as well. So what this will do is this will allow employees to either request through their manager to swap a shift. It will just simply be a simple swap shift function, or they can also do it on their mobile phone as well. So it's very easy to pick this up and use that function. So if we just go down here from our labour optimisation, and we can see all those shifts. So the employee will just simply log in, and if they want to request a shift swap further on down the line, they will be able to do that as well. What you can also do is, if you have any shifts that you want to fill, so say for instance, someone's gone on long-term sick or someone's taking some annual leave, what we can do is we can also advertise shifts as well. So I'm just looking at the back of house at the moment, and these are the shifts that are actually available in this rota. What I can do is I can advertise that, and then employees can actually come and bid for those shifts. What will happen once they bid, it will record that information, and then they will be able to log in later on and see if that's been accepted. But you will always have that last opportunity to choose. Access are also proud to have a new product, which is Access Early Pay. And what that will do is it will also allow the drawdown of a salary once it's been worked and that rota has been closed. But I will go into that a little bit later on. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give the employee as much visual information as possible. Right down from their employment, right down to sort of like any assets they may have. They can also book holidays on their mobile phone, and we'll give you a clear dashboard here of any holiday entitlement they have and anything they may be able to take. As you know, it's hard with the mobile workforce because they don't have that email address always sort of like communicate with their team leader. So they will just simply be able to, when they're off shift, just go onto their mobile phone and request holiday, which will always need to be approved. They will also be able to access their sickness and any leave accruals as well. And like I said before, this site is completely mobile responsive. Now, we talked about when we have our employees and they have that employee engagement, they're working with us, they can see their rotas, they can see what holiday they've taken, they don't have to ask, they can book their holidays. We want to give them a good experience with the business. They can also, if you take our payroll, view their pay slips as well. So they'd be able to come into the payroll side and simply view any pay slips they may have. And they'll obviously see their hourly rate, etc. Now, when it comes to actually an individual leaving, so if we just go into, let's say, Alan, we also want to ensure that same process is going to be a positive one as well. So we want to ensure we're going to have that right pay for them and we're communicating the right information with payroll. So what we're now going to do is, if I just go back into employment, now when terminating an employee, it will ask you what their leave date is. Put today's date. And then from here, we can decide if you want to recruit for this post straight away, so there's no communication backwards and forwards again. And we've also got some information, that extra information that can be added here. Now, as soon as we've got that leave date in there, it will look at straight away what holiday is entitled. So no calculation has to be done. It will look at everything here. It will look at any sickness in the period as well. So if they've had any sickness in that month, it will know to take that off as well. What is also a nice feature, if they've had any training that a cost was incurred by the business, they can also have this notified to payroll as well. We can have external account access as well. So if you want them to have some access to the system after they've left, because obviously all their pay slips will be on there, you also have that opportunity as well. Once this information has been put in, this will all be held in a file that we can transfer to payroll at ease. So that's just a little bit of information of how the employee can engage with the system and how you as a business can also engage with your employees. Now, what I also wanted to show you was a new product that we also have out. And what this will do is this will really revolutionise how we are looking at paying employees. And this is something that we're already doing in America. Won't be a moment, bear with me. There we go. So what we're also looking at introducing is access early pay. I did mention this earlier on, and this is how employees can draw down on their salary. Now, this is really key for the generation that we have at the moment, because we very much live in an on-demand society. Even now, we can have goods delivered the same day. Now, this is not just a benefit for employees, but operators too. As we are quickly approaching the festive season, which means more footfall within your business and higher revenue, we need to ensure we have the staff to manage this. So what this will allow you to do is, so over Christmas, you need sort of like more employees on, you may have sickness or holidays. This will allow employees to draw down their salary as soon as that rota is closed, and that is key. So as soon as they've been on shift, the manager has accepted that, this will close down and this information will be sent to our app, Access Early Pay. From there, the employee will be able to draw down this cash. Now, this will have no impact on the business and is actually a cash neutral way of allowing employees to access their payroll without affecting your cash flow. So what that means is Access Early Pay will look after those that money they're drawing down, and then they will take that money as you do your payroll from the employees, and that can be updated to the payroll. This is just to ensure that we can get those roles, those shifts filled. As well as Access Early Pay, we also have a lot of other products as well. We have Purchase Pay, which is our stock management system. We also have finance system as well, which we can be used in line with the HR, and we also have the EPOS tills. The till section is a great way of actually recording those sales that can be pulled through to the rota. We have ticketing and reservations as well. So if you have an event online or you want your customers to reserve a table, etc., we also have the ability to do that, as well as the property maintenance. This is all under one roof, under Access Workspace. That means one single sign-on and one source of data. So you will be logging into one system and simply picking up the application you wish to use. We are proud to say that we already work with some quite large brands. So to move on, let's see if we have any questions relating to today's webinar. Okay, so we just have a couple of questions. Let me just go back to the demo system. So we're back to the Access demo system. So I do have one question regarding this traffic light system. The traffic light system, you will design or you will decide on what requirements you need for the employee to be active, for them to go through payroll and for them to be approved. So you can set those requirements there. So depending on your business, you can decide on what those flags and what alerts you need. Now, I also had a question regarding eligibility to work. So what I'm going to do is, rather than go through the recruitment system, I'm going to go through just adding a new employee onto the system. When adding an employee, it's simple as just adding that information, or it can come through the recruitment side. And there's certain information you will need to record. Quickly put some info, some address information. Okay, so you simply put that information on. Let me just put the NI number there. It will ask you for any sensitive information. You can have this as mandatory or not, depending on what information you want to collate. And then it will ask you for the bank details. Like I say, if they were coming through recruitment, they could put their own bank details on. So this is your eligibility to work. So this is how the system will look at your candidates coming through. So if I was marked at British, it's just going to simply ask for my passport number or my birth certificate. But it will know if you are from another part, what information is need to be held. So we can see here, does the employee have an ongoing infinite right to work in the UK? If it's no, this information will change. See, we've got yes. So the system is intelligent enough to understand, depending on what area they are from, what information is needed by you as a business. I'm going to put my passport number in here. And we can simply upload that in the system. I'm just going to pick up the post of where I want this individual to be based. And simply put the start employment date. So I'm going to put today's date. As I said before, all this information is actually pulled from the role. So it knows that this is a full-time role, it's permanent, what the notice period is. We can pick multiple payrolls in this section here, and it will also inherit any holiday schemes or days through the system. It's here where it will automatically know if it needs to go onto the rota. Any trunk rating, or if you're using a TNA system, can be added here. And it will also understand if they have, under certain age, what their national minimum wage is. So we can see here, for this individual, it's £8.21. If I just quickly put this person on a salary, so we have to put the full time equivalent 22,000. If I just put in here, contracted hours of, say, 12 and 2 days. Okay, it's worked out the actual salary there. So again, it's sensitive enough to understand, take the FTE salary and work it out on these figures here. Ooh. Okay, just move that back to hourly because it's an hourly paid employee. And that's as simple as getting a new starter on. Have we got any more questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for attending today. I know it's been a couple of glitches today. Hopefully it'll be a bit smoother next time. We do have an early pay webinar coming up soon, and that will be on the 5th of December, and that will show you exactly how the app works and how employees will access that, right down to how the customer will administer that. Thank you for your time today.